Welcome back, everyone, to another AniMonolith recap of the Tensei Slime light novel. This time, Dino finally got serious, and the results were devastating. Beretta was utterly annihilated. Not just destroyed, but erased to the point that even his resurrection bracelet vanished. The power of Dino's evolved skill didn't spread like ordinary energy waves, meaning barriers and defensive magic were completely useless. Very few things in existence could resist such an attack. Even Dino himself hadn't expected it to be this overwhelming. Beretta didn't even realize how he died. For Dino, there was no more room for mercy. If he held back, the mission would fail. "Don't blame me if you die, Beretta," he muttered coldly. In his mind, it didn't matter much. Ramirez's power would surely allow Beretta to revive eventually. But still, Dino couldn't help but feel irritated. Beretta was only a mid-tier subordinate under Demon Lord Rimuru, yet he had pushed Dino this far. Just imagining what the higher-ranking guardians of the labyrinth might be like sent a chill down his spine. Turning toward his true target, Dino reached for Ramirez, who appeared to be asleep, but the instant he touched her, her body scattered into particles of light. Those lights reformed into a delicate butterfly that fluttered around him, as if mocking his efforts. Dino rubbed his eyes, thinking it must be an illusion, but no, it was real. And that meant something far more unsettling. Their battle had been under surveillance the entire time. Click, click. Footsteps echoed steadily in the control room. Calm, unhurried, but carrying undeniable weight. The butterfly of light drifted gracefully toward the newcomer, resting on his arm. Then, in an instant, it transformed back into Ramirez. Still peacefully asleep, wearing an innocent, blissful smile as if nothing had happened. At that moment, Beretta, who had already been resurrected, appeared again. He carefully received Ramirez into his arms, bowing his head respectfully. "Beretta Dono, please take care of Ramirez-sama," the man said quietly. "Understood." "Do you require assistance?" Beretta asked. "No need. I alone am enough from the very start." Ramirez's protection had been absolute. Deep in the safest chamber of the labyrinth, layers of traps had been prepared. Every clash with invading forces had been carefully staged, dragging out the battle little by little to gather information about the enemy. All of it was according to the plan of one man, the labyrinth's strongest guardian, entrusted directly by Veldora himself. And now that man finally revealed himself. The one standing before Dino was the Mist Lord Zegion, the absolute powerhouse of the labyrinth. Earlier, in order to complete his evolution, Zegion had sealed himself inside a cocoon. But even while in slumber, his consciousness never faded. At Veldora's request, he had been carefully monitoring the entire labyrinth, ensuring Ramirez's safety with his overwhelming, absolute defense. From the very start, her protection had been foolproof, and now he had finally appeared before Dino. For Dino, it was like the ground had vanished beneath his feet. "You've got to be kidding me. Is this Rimuru's idea of a joke? That guy just loves pulling stunts like this." He realized in that instant that the mission was already a failure. Forget capturing Ramirez. Even escaping alive had become uncertain. What unsettled Dino the most was Ramirez herself. When had she even been evacuated? He was sure he had been speaking with her just moments ago. Then she turned into a butterfly of light, which meant the Ramirez in the room had been nothing more than an illusion. That thought made him shiver. He himself was a master of hypnosis and mental interference, someone who wielded an ultimate skill. Yet Zegion had manipulated his senses without him even noticing. Was this insect warrior really capable of creating illusions powerful enough to fool him? If so, then Zegion wasn't just about brute force. He had mental dominance as well. Dino knew Zegion's reputation. A humanoid of the insector race, nurtured directly under Rimuru's command, and said to have been trained by Veldora himself. His fighting skills were rumored to even surpass the primordial demons. To the invaders of the labyrinth, Zegion was already regarded as an absolute king, a being untouchable in physical combat. Dino had seen it with his own eyes when the Imperial army was crushed. Zegion had wiped them out with overwhelming might, without even relying on unique or ultimate skills. At the time, Dino had concluded that Zegion was simply invincible in terms of raw physical strength. But now, there was something more. His distortion field, the bizarre defensive ability that warped space, might already rival an ultimate skill in potency. And after Rimuru's recent celebration, when many of his subordinates underwent forced evolutions akin to a harvest festival, It was no wonder that Zegion had gained even greater powers. Still, Dino couldn't wrap his head around it. How is this even fair? Rimuru's subordinates evolving to the same level as awakened demon lords? That's absurd. Even Guy Crimson couldn't make this happen. And those primordials? Rimuru uses them as mere underlings? This is insane. Standing before him now was proof of that insanity. Zegion's presence rivaled even the primordials. His aura wasn't just a million-class value. It was something beyond numbers, the unmistakable pressure of an ultimate skill wielder. Dino felt his shoulders sink. "This is why I hate working," he muttered bitterly. There were no good options left, yet time marched on and Zegion was already moving. As Zegion slowly approached, Dino's mind was racing, trying to piece together a strategy. "Got any last words?" Zegion asked, his tone calm, almost cold. "Ha, so that's your plan? Forcing out my trump cards just to swoop in and finish me? That's cheap," Dino snapped, conveniently forgetting that he himself had been doing the exact same thing until now. Zegion didn't even blink. Ridiculous. This is a battle, the conversation ended there. Dino's thoughts sharpened. He knew Zegion was a close combat monster, likely even an ultimate skill holder. Dino, on the other hand, specialized in mental attacks, but with his trump cards already revealed, he didn't want to risk exposing more. Still, he couldn't just back down. Fine then, let's settle this head on. Lifting his massive blade, Dino roared, "Don't underestimate me! I'm still one of the Octogram. No way I lose to some rookie chick like you. Take this. Fall and strike." It was his ultimate sword technique, empowered by the evolved ultimate skill Sloth King Belphegor. Through the Phantom Flow style, Dino's strike carried not only physical force but waves of negative vibrations that ate away at willpower. Just a glimpse of it could crush the spirit of anyone without an ultimate skill, and even the strong would not escape unharmed. To be struck by it meant both body and mind would collapse. Dino grinned with confidence. Even Guy Crimson would think twice if this hit him right head-on. But when the blade came crashing down, Zegion did not evade. Instead, he raised his left arm, exoskeleton transformed into the mythical metal Hurricane, and caught the blow directly. "You fool! If you block it, you'll still take the damage." "That's my victory!" Dino shouted, sure of himself. And yet, Zegion stood completely unharmed. Dino froze. That technique, his strongest move, should have broken through any defense, both physical and mental. Yet Zegion's body showed no damage, and his aura was as overwhelming as ever. This guy really is a monster. "Was that supposed to be special?" Zegion asked calmly. "Or did you actually think such a mild blow could defeat me?" Cold sweat ran down Dino's back. No way. His body's already mythical class, and his willpower resists even ultimate-level spiritual attacks? Then he really does have an ultimate skill. Zegion's gaze didn't waver. "If you suspected I had an ultimate skill, then you should have attacked with everything you had. Your laziness is the reason you lost. Don't talk like you've already won," Dino bellowed. But Zegion simply opened his left hand. In an instant, 5 beams of light burst forth, his dimension rays cutting through space itself. Dino barely leapt back in time, avoiding certain death, but his right arm was severed cleanly at the elbow. The pain nearly made him scream, but instinct screamed louder. "If this keeps up, I really will die." Dino barely avoided the deadly attack of a bite, but not completely. Both body and spirit screamed in pain. Gritting his teeth, he shouted, "So you really have an ultimate skill, huh? Don't tell me mental attacks don't work on you either." Zegion's voice was as cold as ice. "I have no obligation to answer, but since you're pitiful, I'll grant you the truth. From the very beginning, you've been trapped within my domain. Remember this well. I am the Mist Lord, ruler of the world of illusion. Mental attacks mean nothing to me." Dino froze. That one line destroyed every hope he had left. If this was true, then from the start, this battlefield had belonged entirely to Zegion. His strength in close combat was already overwhelming. And now Dino realized that his opponent also reigned supreme in mental warfare. What kind of monster is this? Just how many freaks has Rimuru dragged into Tempest? Despair set in. Even his ultimate skill meant nothing here. The difference in power was beyond evolution, beyond reason. Maybe only the author himself could explain Zegion's absurdity. Dino sighed, giving up completely. He didn't even bother to run. Zegion's voice echoed like a death sentence. Pray, sinner who has touched the depths of hell. Repent and be erased. Dimension storm. A rainbow-colored storm of energy swallowed Dino whole. His body and spirit disintegrated, erased without leaving a single trace. But in the next instant, there was a faint sound, a crack. A fracture of something unseen, a Dino's figure reformed. Zegion remained calm, as if he had expected it all along. Outside the labyrinth, Dino gasped for air, alive again. He looked down and realized the cheap, one-use resurrection bracelet he had bought earlier was broken. His body was restored, but his spirit was in tatters. The mission had failed. He had underestimated Tempest, underestimated Zegion. Just thinking about going back to face Feldway made his stomach churn. Dino muttered bitterly, "So that's it. This whole country's full of monsters." Zegion, Ramirez, Rimuru, there's no safe way forward. Shoulders slumped, Dino trudged off to regroup with his allies. The once proud fallen angel looked more like a defeated salaryman than a demon lord's pillar. And that, my friends, marks the end of today's battle recap. Thanks for watching, and see you next time on AniMonolith.